Oops, sorry. Guy was driving me crazy. All he ever does is talk about butterflies and gardens.
Fortunately, Heather's only joking, but the reality is in lockdown, it's exposing quite a lot of the worst of human behaviour, and Jesus is dealing with that in the Sermon on the Mount, and claims for himself an authority, the authority of God, in terms of the interpretation of the law that the Pharisees were getting so wrong. And he's taking an overview, 6 laws, and he's saying, you might have heard it said and interpreted like this, but now I'm going to tell you the interpretation of the law. And he starts with murder. He says, you have heard it said, do not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says to his brother, Raca, is answerable to the Sanhedrin, but anyone who says, you fool, will be in danger of the fire of hell. So Jesus has begun the Sermon on the Mount describing the essential nature of a disciple, of a believer, of a citizen of his kingdom. And now he's describing how we behave in a fallen world, how it is we flourish and live in this fallen world. And flourishing does not look, as the Pharisees were emphasizing, on a list of prohibitions. Don't go to a cinema, don't wear your hair long, wear certain robes, let your beard grow long, don't drink, fast for 7 days. No, Jesus is saying to be transformed into God-likeness, Christ-likeness. We aren't just emphasizing what we look and do on the outside. God is interested in our inner hearts, in our inner motives. What leads, he says, to murder for some, actually the kernel of that, the very seed of that, lies in the very heart of how we live in the world when we find ourselves saying Raca, worthless person, to a refugee coming across the Mediterranean, or you fool or moron as we're driving and we get angry with the driver in front of us. Jesus says these are sinful roots that need to be dealt with. So today, if you're tempted to get angry, if you're finding yourself getting mad at the television, take a moment with God and understand God is interested in what's going on in our hearts.